Hi YouTube. Today we're going to have a look at the TFT color multi-information display on the Perodua Ativa. This is how it starts up. As you can see, this display is actually divided into two parts. One is the TFT color multi-information display itself, which is basically from here to the left, while the multi-information display is on your right here. So what we're going to do is we are going to focus on the TFT color multi-information display. By the way, TFT is thin film transistor. Okay, let's get going. Okay, when you start your engine, this is what you will see, and this here is the lighting, the Eco Drive Assist lighting. The lighting color will turn green in 3 stages by determining the degree of environment friendly driving. The display color will turn yellow when in power mode, and the lighting color does not change when using ACC or adaptive cruise control. Right, this area here is basically the content display. Various information can be displayed by switching between menu icons. Depending on the situation, the display may also be interrupted with alert triggers. Up here you will see the menu icons. It displays the contents by switching between the icons. And obviously this here is the clock. This here shows you the shift position display. Obviously right now it is at park. This here is the tachometer. It displays the engine revolutions per minute. Down here is the odo cum trip information. And what you don't see here is just above this blinking light, reminding you of to wear your safety belt, would be the indication that tells you about service information reminder icon. The icon will be displayed when there is a reminder. For example, if you need to have oil change done, and or even tire rotations, what have you. It will be displayed here in the form of a spanner. Right, many of this display on the TFT is controlled by this here control buttons and switches here. For example, this here up and down arrows and left and right arrows basically are for switching between menus and switching between contents or skipping or moving the cursor around. This obviously is the enter button for selecting and deciding on an item. Pressing and holding this button will reset driving information. This here is a trip button. It switches between trip information displays. For example, between odometer, trip A or trip B. This here is the return button. Returns to the previous screen, and pressing and holding this button will return to the first screen. Okay, the basic screen, basically the TFT color multi-information display can switch between 4 types of basic screen. The left and right arrows, all you do is you press these buttons to switch to settings, as you can see here. Press this button again to go to design, so you go down to designs and then press enter, the enter button. Then you press up and down arrows again to select the display screen, and when you have decided on the one that you like, you press enter. For example, the 4 designs are as follows. This is display 1, this is display 2, this is display 3, and this is display 4. Okay, and if you decide to choose on display 4, all you do is press the enter button, and there you have it. Now display 4 is on your panel. The odo or trip information can be changed by every time you press the trip button, and the information displayed will change as follows. Right now it shows the odometer, and on pressing the trip, it now goes to trip A, and if you press it one more time, it goes to trip B, and when you press again, it goes back to the odometer. As you know, the odometer basically displays the total distance the vehicle has traveled, whilst the trip meter A displays the distance the vehicle has been driven since the meter was last reset. To reset, just press and hold the trip button for more than 1 second while trip meter A is displayed. Trip meter B basically displays the distance the vehicle has been driven since the meter was last reset. To reset, press and hold the trip button for more than 1 second while the trip meter B is being displayed. Trip meters A and trip meter B can be used separately to show distances between places. Okay, for driving information, you need to go back to the arrow buttons on your steering. By pressing the left or right buttons, you actually can change this driving information here as such. Okay, it is now at the ACC. This is just the clock. This is to see if you have any messages. This is going back to the setting and back to the driving information. Okay, the display also shows you various information. For example, right now it shows you what is your average fuel consumption, and by pressing the up and down arrow on the steering, you can change it. For example, now it tells you what is the range you can travel, but this, remember, is just an estimation. So you have now enough fuel to travel for another 288 kilometers, for example. This one here actually shows you the average kilometer you are clocking based on an estimate. And now the average the average shown here is basically the distance calculated based on past average fuel consumptions, and need not be the actual distance the vehicle can be driven. Pressing the enter button for more than 5 seconds while driving range is displayed may delete past average fuel consumption data and update the display. But however, please bear in mind the display may not be updated when the fuel is low. Right, this here is actually the idling stop time or idling stop cumulative time. As you can see, it tells you start, stop, idling stop time. It basically displays the total amount of idling stop time when the engine is switched off by the eco idle system from the moment the engine is ignited until it is switched off. Idling stop cumulative time is basically it displays the total amount of idling stop time from when the engine is switched off by the eco idle system since the display was reset. To reset, just press and hold enter button while the total idling time is displayed. This icons here will basically show you the driving assist functions. All you do is press the left and right buttons to switch to a different menu. For example, as you can see here, you see the eco and it shows you the range, shows you the next icon, and so on and so forth. The settings, let's start with this here. Okay, with these icons, the following system operation status can be checked. Firstly is the adaptive cruise control, which is this one here, and also the lane keep control, lane departure warnings, and lane departure prevention. Okay, from this here, when you switch on to this icon here, basically an analog clock is shown, and if you wish, you can actually press the down arrow to switch off the screen as such. Okay, let's now look at the settings. You can do that by pressing the left or right arrow on the steering. This here is the setting menu. The first on it is the display brightness. Okay, on selecting the brightness, you press once the enter button once again, and use the up and down arrows to adjust the brightness that best suits your needs. As you can see, all you do is just press up and down and you can adjust the brightness, and once you're okay with it, just press enter again. Okay, when you finish, press the return button and it goes back to the settings menu. You now go to the next menu, which is basically time and date. Press enter, and this is where you adjust your time and date as you require. And like as you can see here, you can either set it to a 12-hour system, or you can use the 24 hours. Okay, that is for the 24 hours. The next is the design. I think we've gone through this. This is basically to select the display. Okay, and finally display settings. Okay, you can switch between the display settings screens by either pressing and holding the up and down buttons, or by pressing the buttons several times. The first screen is basically it is as follows, where you can fiddle with either the echo indicator light, average fuel reset, refuel, trip A, reset after refuel. This is an interesting feature in the sense that in the event that you would like to monitor how much or how far you've traveled every time you've refueled, you could set this to on, so that every time you have refueled, the trip meter A will reset to 0. So that way you could probably monitor the distances traveled. Then you have the time auto display, and then you have the opening display. Okay, ending display here. You can either switch it off, or you can switch it on to standard or eco. Okay, then you have the adaptive cruise control auto display. Okay, if you were to enter the buzzer settings, you have the following menus you can choose from. Departure alerts, lane departure warning, turn signals, opening sounds. You have the ACC or adaptive cruise controller, blind spot mode, and so on and so forth. Right, notification day setting is quite interesting in the sense that you can actually set dates to remind you from your birthday, your spouse's birthday, your girlfriend's birthday, and so on and so forth, anniversaries, important dates that you wish to be reminded, and so on. And basically, it has got 10 dates that you can set. Okay, vehicle settings basically is you can check out the front camera. Again, these are some of the menus available for you. The blind spot and the RCTA, mirror indicator luminance. As you may or may not be aware, the Ativa comes with the feature where the side view mirror actually has got a light that one lights up the moment you have vehicles on a blind spot, just to warn you to be aware before you make a turn, and so on and so forth. Door lock, vehicle speed limit. You can actually, you see, when you come into the car, the doors do not automatically lock. However, there is a button near where the handbrake is, where you can actually physically lock or unlock. But then again, the Ativa has another feature, that is when the vehicle starts moving to a certain kilometers per hour, it'll automatically lock all the doors. So you could actually turn that on or off here. And these are some of the other features available. Okay, for the wiper, basically the speed linked intermission can be adjusted. Shift right linked rear wiper for the rear wiper. Okay, then we come to the maintenance setting. For example, you want to remind yourself on the maintenance that you need to carry out on the Ativa. You could probably do it here. For example, oil changing timing notice is on, and you set when, at how many kilometers, how many thousand kilometers, and so forth. Notification timing settings, oil change, for example, again reset after changing, so it will automatically reset. And then the next notice, for example, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's wraps up the TFT multifunction display on the Ativa. Please let me know your comments, and please like, share, and do not forget to subscribe. Till then, drive carefully and cheers.